Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome to Bidanas Nigeria live stream. Okay, here with me is Mr. Coco. So, Coco, say hi to the house.
Hello, good afternoon. What's up?
So far so good. How has it been going, guy?
I think starting off the week, coming from last week, because it was really rough in terms of what price was doing on the euro. Okay, I think it
Okay.
was pending when that ECB um interest rates on the euro was to be released. So you had a situation where price was very indecisive. All right,
Yeah.
so it wasn't giving you that clear direction on a trend where okay you're saying you're selling and then you can now engage based on that, but then it was going back and forth. So I just hope this week, even though we have CPI, so it should be able to clear things and then give us that low resistance liquidity run to the downside. Did you take a trade today, Emilio?
All right. Looking at what Euro USD has been doing so far so good. Remember that during I think that was Thursday, the 5th of June. Euro USD decided to give us a sweep of liquidity to the upside, which I can frame it as my all-time overall buy side liquidity over there, as you can see in the chart. So we have overall buy side liquidity. Okay,
All right.
we have our overall buy side liquidity, which we are even expecting price to pull to that place. I think that is what Euro is actually doing over there, right? So there's something I want to make you to see. We have a very beautiful psychology level at 1.15 thousand, right? Now, we observe that in as much as we have a buy side liquidity over there, price did not even react at that particular psychology level, right? So,
Okay.
invariably, what that is giving us a beautiful setup to the upside is that price will definitely go to that particular psychology level. And I mean, Euro uses, we still have a very beautiful bullish momentum to the upside, right? So there's a particular zone Euro USD left today. I think people that actually entered the price during the London session might have caught that particular trade at this very beautiful psychology level at, okay, this beautiful psychology level at 1.14 thousand, right?
Yeah.
So at 1.14 thousand was a very beautiful place to hit your trade, and we are expecting the price to go to 1.15 thousand. That is about 100 pips.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful 100 pips to the upside, right? Now, let's look at how someone can actually frame an entry over there. I
Okay.
think this was the London session, right? London session decided to tank down to that particular level, taking out Monday's low, right?
Yeah.
So when once price actually keys a particular low, we are expecting a break and retest. But over here, looking at how candles are being printed, it shows a little bit manipulation, right?
Okay.
I'm still expecting a massive drop to the downside before we continue to the upside, right?
Yeah.
But invariably, I can see this kind of charts. If you have to go to the US 30, let's try to compare something. If you go to the US 30, I think US 30 has printed this kind of candle before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, looking at the US 30, that was on Monday, the 9th of June, right?
Okay.
USDT decided to print the same pattern, right? Decided to print the same pattern that we are seeing what Euro is actually doing. So, having that kind of ideology in mind, we still know that, come on, the price is actually a little bit bullish to the upside, right?
Yeah.
So, let's go back to the Euro USD chart.
Now,
We can,
are you thinking sales today on euro?
I mean, taking a sales on Euro,
Yeah.
actually, price has taken the Asian low and also taken the Asian high.
Asian
So
high.
actually, I'm not looking at any sell. I'm not looking at any sell or buy today in today's market. What I
Because
will be focusing on.
because personally, gone to my head, I'll be thinking only sell because
Okay.
The way we came up from that previous that Thursday high.
All right.
So that's, to me, that's a manipulation. So any run on a previous day's high
Okay.
should be a total soup to then take it lower. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I really understand what you're trying to say. You know, for me, every trader has their own strategy and structure
Yeah, sure.
in the market. So once price begins to take out previous day low, come on, like it gives me this impression maybe price wants to reverse or the trend wants to change. You know,
Yeah.
for the Euro USD, we have been on a bullish trend for quite some days now, right?
Yeah.
So
but the thing that throws me off is because we're already coming off from Monday's low, right?
all right.
So it could have been better if we did not manipulate that low. Okay.
Yeah,
And then we're
yeah,
rallying
yeah.
like this. So
Yeah.
now it just puts it on 50-50. Like I said, if I'm to pick a side, I would pick sells as
Okay.
opposed to longs, because this initial run to the upside, I'm not seeing that as an expansion because it's back and forth, back and forth. You could see we're having weeks. Because in the expansion, it should have something like the leg from yesterday in New York. I don't know if you understand me. But I think if you were on buys, even though it's very difficult to manage a trade like that, because if you're someone that you're not risking properly, right, it's gonna be very difficult to be able to manage that trade to target. But we'll just see the developments we get maybe post 9:30. Okay, I think it's about
Okay, so you're actually looking at when once it is 9:30, we will be framing a
Sales.
beautiful sales setup,
yeah,
right?
sales, yes.
Okay. All right. On that note, let's look at what Coco is actually saying, right?
Yeah.
Now, marking out a psychology level at 1.14500, right?
Okay, yeah.
You know, price has not even reacted on that place.
Yeah.
So I'll be waiting for price to actually react at
React
that
from there.
particular zone.
Sure.
When once it reacts at that particular place, I'll be looking at taking a sell. Maybe probably
sell.
my TP will be at the midnight opening price. All right, guys. So looking at the Euro USD, between the analysis, me and Coco, we actually saying, okay, we will be looking at a sell setup, right?
Yeah.
At the psychology level. So we are waiting price to hit 1.14500. Then probably we'll be keeping our SL at 1.14600 a little bit. Please, you know how to manage your risks, right? So at that moment, we'll be targeting the midnight opening. Guys, we'll be, as you know that whatever we call in the live stream, we take it over in the back office. If it goes our way, it goes. If it hits,
Okay, that
our
means
SL,
your
yeah.
target for the day is the midnight opening from.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you're looking at the lows from Friday and then the low mid today, you could see those are relatively, it's still clean.
Yeah, the
Right?
lows
So
are
that's
too clean.
sell
Yeah.
side, right? Even though maybe some brokers would give you that conviction that it's not. It's just relatively equal, right? So if we're able to roll this thing lower, and
Okay.
then probably CPI tomorrow meets it, it's definitely going to send this thing to hell.
Okay, that's a very beautiful one there. Oh no, all right, guys. I think price is actually approaching our setup over there. So get your phone ready, get your device. Probably you are using a laptop, however, any device that you're using. So we are going to short this straight to the downside. All right. Now moving on, we know that the on the indices,
Yeah.
we actually know that we are approaching the New York liquidity zone where the big boys will be stepping into the market. So, Mr. Coco, I'll be going down to the US 30. You know,
US
that's my
30.
favorite pay to see what's going on there. All right.
Actually, this used to be a market I used to love, but then if you see how you're trading lately, it's been really terrible. Like most times, I don't even get my signatures to engage me on price, so I just leave it. So I'm more focused on the currencies and yeah. So that's what I'm
Okay.
doing. I'm not really paying attention to what the indices market is doing, because rather than just get myself or my hands daily in a market that doesn't is not going to offer me those signatures I love to see to engage it, I'd rather just maybe after the end of the day I could just take a look at what has happened and then I'll just engage it based on that, on an idea of I'm trying to review my day on that market, not like I'm actively taking live trades on the indices market. I'm not, because this price action is honestly I don't even understand what's going on.
Okay. You know, everybody has their own bias, right? You know, a wise man once said that one man's food is another man's poison, but there's no problem over there. So I'll be looking at the USDT analysis, right? We move to the 4 hours to look at if the market is actually trending or not. So in my observation, we know that the USDT is on the upside, right? It's on the upside. Okay.
Yep.
And looking at the one of the laws of the trend line is because when once it has three touches, the last one will break the trend line and the trend will actually reverse.
Okay, is it like when you have those three touches, the fourth one has to break?
Has to break.
Okay.
Now, when once it breaks, we automatically know that the trend has changed. Yeah. Now, looking at the USDT, I really observe one thing now. Now, looking at the psychology level at 43,000, you know, I'll be expecting price to like a little bit rally up and clean up that place. That's psychology level, right? And we hit USDT down to the downside, right, guys? So moving down to the 1 hour time frame, we know that it has been printing a beautiful candle to the upside.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I even expected the Euro USD to do, but actually Euro USD had to clean Monday low and decided to rally to the upside. But there's no problem over there. Okay.
Yep.
So now looking at the USDT 1 hour, we have observed one or two things happening over there. The Asian guys, I mean, these guys decided to take out the high. That's the same thing that happened to the Euro USD. I mean, do we switch to be trading the Asian session, guys?
I mean, the extension, it's too late in the night now. Like, you want to be doing something else aside trying to do technical analysis in the night. It doesn't make sense.
You know, actually should be even be backtesting over there, but there's no problem over there. And looking at the market structure on the USDT, I mean, this structure for me is very, very dirty. I can't really see what is happening here, guys.
It's very dirty.
Yeah, very dirty, because you can see what the London guys did. This is a very massive pull. I mean, cleaning up the Asian low.
Yeah.
Is a very massive pull to the downside. And the only thing that actually prevented this market is this other block. The other block that was created on the Monday. 10:15 a.m. So, for me now, I would just really want to, I mean, see the reaction on the by 2:30, which is 9:30 New York time. Okay. So over here, I want to really mark my midnight opening price to see what is going to. Probably, price might want to rally up to that particular place.
Point, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on the 15 minute, let's look at marking out a little bit other block here. Let's see whether price will actually run to that place. Okay.
I think because I've noticed this market that you could just see how the Asian sessions are just giving those ranges. Like, it's insanity. Like, imagine just waking up in the morning and then you're having price already expanded. So at that point, it's leaving you with nothing to do on the day. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So it makes it very difficult to be able to frame, I mean, like, logically, how you would frame your setup to get on side with any expansion that might happen.
Okay, that's actually true. But you know, looking at the trend, you know, when once you're in an uptrend, you should be looking at framing a buy setup, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be looking at taking a position on the euro on the USDT at 42.72, right? That will be my limit order over there.
Yeah.
And I'll be targeting the midnight opening, right? You know, I have a very big eye at this major psychology level at 43,000. I mean, that cycle level is a massive one that I'm actually expecting price to pull into that place.
Yeah.
Now, the another thing that I'm actually seeing is that the USDT decided to take the Asian low, right?
Asian low, yeah.
You know, when once price takes out the Asian low, we'll be taking out the Asian high. Now, the London session did a very beautiful, fantastic job over there.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll be looking at price pulling down to let's say 42,700.
42,700.
Yes, 42,700 over there, and we rally to the midnight opening price. Now moving on, guys, let's move to the US 500 to see what's going there also. The US 500 is also an indices pair, right? Okay. Now moving to the 4 hours, let's look at if US 500 is actually trending. Okay. We can observe that the USDT is actually trending, and it's actually the previous candle is a pin bar. Come on, this is a continuation to the upside. So US 500, man, guys, we are going to the upside, guys. We are going to the upside, guys. We are actually going to the upside. Now let's move to the 4 hours to see to the 1 hour to see a beautiful market structure. Okay, I mean, the London guys has done the job already, taking out the Asian low, right, and taking out the previous low. I mean, We saw that the US 500 actually gave us a double bottom with the previous Asian session of Monday. I think that was on Sunday, right? That was on Sunday. Okay. So moving down to the 15 minutes time frame, let's look at what price is going to do there. First, in the 15 minutes time frame, we need to mark out our midnight opening. We observe that the US 30 is below the midnight opening. We observe that the US 500 also is below the midnight opening price.
Yeah.
So what we'll be looking at is, let's try to measure using the Fibonacci to see the 50% retracement of this move, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll be taking my 50% retracement from the Asian high to the London low, and we have observed that the 50% is at 6,010, which is almost close to the major psychology level at 6,000, right?
6,000.
Okay. Now we observe that that particular price over there just reacted at the other block that made the price support to the upside. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I want to use my FIP. You know, FIP is one of the major tools I use in the forex industry to to use and catch some pips, right? So now let's look at what price will do over here. Now, if price have to break this particular order block at 6,000, 6,006,
Yeah.
right? I think price will actually go to the next order block. But for now, I will really be waiting for price to, pull back a little bit by the 230 and see what it's going to do over there, right? So if you actually want to frame a little bit setup, I'll be taking the position at 6,006. Then your SL will be a down low, very tight SL, right?
Okay.
I will be targeting the midnight opening price. But guys, this is not a financial advice. I'll be waiting for 2:30 Nigerian time GMT +1 to react. When once I see the reaction and a pull to the upside, I'll engage the trade over there. So let's keep watching on that particular frame. I think we have less than a couple of
About
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes for the New York time to open so that we can see what we can do and take the trade over there. All right, guys, it has been two of us commenting, analyzing what's going on in the market. All right, so if you actually have any pair that you want us to analyze for you, please drop it here on the comment section. We are going to do justice to that successfully. So we'll be watching at the comment section any pay, even if it is Nigerian USD, NGN USD. We are going to analyze that. I just discovered that we have that pay. That pay is kind of dirty. I don't know who trades that kind of. Do you know of any broker that trades NGN USD?
The thing about that market is if you're pulling up the chart now, you cannot even frame anything logical in terms of wanting to maybe day trade it or something, because it doesn't, the price action is just what you'll be seeing. You're just seeing dots, right? So it's just telling you that it's an asset that, if you, in terms of applying your logic as to how you frame your trades, you probably not even get anything, right? But then it's still there to measure the economy of the country anyways.
Okay, that's a beautiful one. Actually the SP 500 is showing a very beautiful pullback to where we are expecting the entry. So guys, let's watch.
That reminds me, because I noticed something, indeed, which is different from what most of our colleagues upstairs are doing. Okay, now if you notice where you want to take that entry now, most times you always wait for it to get there, react before you now engage.
Yeah,
because it's misleading most people to think that once you have your overlay for a long position set like this, once price get there, you're hitting the bottom. But no, you told me that's not what you're doing, because when people see this now, they might just have their limit and then their stop loss. But then the way you're going to engage it is different from how it's been presented. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get. That is why I say that we actually wait for the 2:30 Nigerian time GMT +1, which is actually 9:30 on the New York UTC.
Yeah.
Once we see that market reaction, we need to see that volatility sweep to that place.
Yeah.
Once we see that sweep, the next candle we can engage our setup and we go. That is how I engage, because you know that that particular 2:30 is a very horrible time. And if your emotions are not in place, you might be crying looking at the chat, guy.
9:30, you mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, things just happen. Everything just is pretty fast, right? But then the market is still going to do what it wants to do, just that in an exaggerated manner. Okay, because I could remember that day we took that euro buy. Okay, I think you guys still remember. You saw the way the market was giving you that conviction that it's going to be bearish, but then it ended up still being bullish. So if you're someone that is any fluctuation in price, you fast to maybe roll stop or maybe scale out of positions. You just know that you would be in a mist, a mist. You will be in a trade that you thought was going higher, but then you could not participate in it. I mean, that's painful, right? As opposed to maybe you got in on a trade and then you got stopped out.
Okay, guys, we have a couple of 2 minutes to go to see the New York reaction over there. So, okay, I mean, SP 500 is actually reacting to where I'm looking at. Okay, guys, I mean, is moving to our zone. I always like to see this. I always like to see this, guys. I always like to see this. Okay, that of the US30 also is still pulling down to our zone that we are expecting price to react and pull to the upside, guys. All right, I think your buy button should be in place, guys.
Yeah, Collins, do you have a conviction on where price should be headed, or you still long-term bullish on the Euro USD?
Right now, really indecisive on what Euro USD is doing, because if you check your higher time frame, daily time frame, you realize that today's price took out engineered liquidity that was created on Friday. That was the high of Friday. So what I'm looking is, like, I'm looking for a change in state of delivery, because if you look at your 4 hours, you realize that price is also trying to create what we call turtle soup for bearishness. So for me, I'm like 60% bearishness and 40% bullishness. So I'm just waiting for price to do create certain confirmation for me to engage. So for now, I'll stay off the charts and just be indecisive.
Yeah, but then you already paid yourself.
Yeah, I already paid myself this morning on the London session buys, and that was just necessary. It's just wait for what you see and what you're familiar with, and then engage. Then apply your rules of risk management to stay, keep your psychology stable, because it's all boiled down to your psychology. You can take 1 to 2 losses in that week, but because of your good risk management plan, your psychology is still focused. So when you apply these things in the market, it helps you to participate in this market and seeing your entry and be able to take them. I could recall there's a student of mine that had consecutive losses, about 3, but that didn't affect him just because he had this proper risk management plan. So if at all he went against his trading plans and rule and against his trading reason, most of those entries he got today would not be possible, because first of all, the greatest enemy of man is fear. Once fear gets into your mind, it affects your trading as a whole. So for me, I have to stay indecisive for this New York session. Probably once I see what 3 o'clock, that is 10 o'clock New York time will do, I'm looking for certain confirmation, because at 10 o'clock, that's when I'm looking for most of my confirmation to know what I'm doing. Thank you.
Okay, that was a very beautiful, nice piece. I'm from Mr. Collins. All right. Okay, guys. US 500. This is 2:30 Nigerian time GMT +1, right? Which is actually the 9:30 New York UTC, right? So I'm actually waiting for price to pull into my zone before I take my buy at that particular moment. So I'm actually waiting. But if price leaves me, there's no problem. I've actually traded for today. Staying out of the charts, you have already traded, right?
Now, not even taking a position, I thought it's still
something
go
good.
your account.
All right. I mean, we today live stream is actually blessed. We have some good female traders in the house. I mean, it's very beautiful to have a female trader. when once it comes to trading, emotions is being attached also, right? So we want to really hear from the female traders in the house. I mean, to just share how they control their emotions when once they are inside the trade. I mean, I really want to have some good experience also.
Because to be honest, I'm of the opinion that females make better traders than males. Because the thing about males is there's this ego we have, right? Because we don't want to be wrong. And then if we are wrong, we want to show the market that we can never be wrong. So I think honestly, females are much more better traders as opposed to males, because when they say they're going to do this, that means they have a plan. Okay, they will execute that plan, right? They could come out even greener. Let me use that word, as opposed to if you're comparing yourself with a male. I don't know what you think, but it could be maybe a different opinion of what you have. But that's just what I think.
Actually, the market does not care about emotions, whether you're a female or a male. But I want to ask you, are you married, Mr. Kogo?
No, I'm not married.
Okay, so allow the female to speak for themselves. Okay. All right, guys. The next female trader that are going to hear from our live stream is Mrs. A.D. Diong. I mean, she's going to share her own psychology,
experience, right?
her own experience, emotion, how she controls and how she sees the chart. According to Mr. Coco, I mean, female traders can actually do better than a man. I'm not in a position to argue that, guys. Yeah. So over to Mrs. A.D. Diong. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. A.D. Diong.
Thank
Welcome.
you so much for the opportunity. So for me, the way I see trading and the way I control my emotions is that once I enter a trade, I pick my stop loss and pick my take profit.
Yeah.
And once I set my take profit and my stop loss, I'm off
for
the day.
You see what I'm saying?
For some other duties. So with that, once you're able to the way you control your emotion is, for me, is by closing your screen.
Yeah.
Once you set your stop loss and your take profit, if you're able to close your screen and get yourself doing some other thing, you'll be able to maneuver with the market.
Simon, you see what I was saying? Because now it's the opposite of what a male would do. Because when we have our TP and our SL, we always, okay, what's the market doing, right? And then you might be forced to tweak maybe your stop loss or your TP, because assuming now price is approaching your TP, there is that natural tendency for you to want to now adjust your take profit because you want more. But then a female will not do something like that. That's why I was saying that they make better traders than males, because like she said, when she has her TP and her take profit, she just allows it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I don't want to really argue on that, man. But as I said earlier, we have two wonderful female traders in the house, right?
Right.
Miss Didio has clarified on that on when once she set her TP and set her SL, she's off the chart.
Yeah.
To other, domestic works. Women like engaging in many domestic works. Actually, I was thinking probably we should have domestic work on TradingView, guys. All right. So the next female voice, her voice is so good that you can hit TP in a long run, man. So you'll be hearing Mrs. Nsika on the microphone say hi to the house, and you're going to tell us how do you control your emotion when it comes to the forex trading.
Good afternoon. Okay. I may not really have much to say, but I have to say something.
Yeah.
Lately, I've learned to control my emotions through using a very good risk management.
Okay.
That I know it. I didn't know it before, but lately I have learned that if you enter the market with a good risk management, you'll be able to control the market, as in your emotions will be intact.
Yeah.
But when you go into the market with, as in, I think I will blow with this one. Whether you blow or not, even if at the end of it you're on profit, your emotions may be so
exactly
tense, kind of. So
exactly.
With risk management, I think it's something that everybody should learn about. Risk management should be your number one take in the market. Thank you.
You're welcome. Like, you see what I was saying, because even there was this day I traveled. I was on a public transport, right? So I was bored, right? So I just put up my phone. Normally I don't trade on my phone. Okay, so I just started. You remember Eminem when I told you that if you really want to risk your account, just get on a bus and then do like you're traveling, and then from there you just open up a trading view and then see how you could analyze the market. So what happened that day was I kept on taking. I took about 4 positions that day, even though it ended in okay in a green, but not so much of a green. But then I took a couple of losses, and even with that profit, like you said, you're not going to be as because your emotions will be like, what if I've done something terribly bad at that point? So welcome, Mrs. Nsikan. Bob, welcome, ma. It's really good to have you here in the trading floor.
All right, guys. The very good female trader has spoken very well.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned from them is risk management.
Risk
guys.
management.
Risk management is the game. All right, guys. I mean, we have some couple of good traders in the house. I mean, the young man that's sitting close to me is Mr. Kings. I mean, the guy is super good on Euro US. I mean, he took some profit today, guy. So I really want to see him. Like, I mean, Mr. King. I mean, say hi to the chat and tell us how is your day going, man.
Good afternoon, viewers.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Okay, my name is Kings. So my colleagues have said everything. So I don't really have much to say than to talk about how to calculate our lot size, because a whole lot of traders who does not know how to do that. So I will leave this podium now to Mr. Collins.
You've not said anything now. Like,
Let's
did
take
you,
us
did you
on
trade
that.
today?
No.
Okay, you didn't
because-
trade today. I see why you don't have anything to say.
No, yeah, I did. I took some partial today.
Okay. But how was it now? It was good now.
Yeah, it was
Like,
good.
I'm currently struggling with this drawdown on card. I just hope it just expands away from where I have my stop loss.
I'm still looking at bullishness. So
On card JPY.
no.
Okay. Euro.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still looking at bullishness because I'm expecting today to close bullish. Then tomorrow
We'll sell it up. We'll sell
no.
up, expand to the upside.
No, tomorrow we'll now trade back to like 14,175.
Okay. 1,000.
14,175.
75.
Yeah,
Okay.
14,175.
I think we'll just see how that goes, because the thing about utilizing the economic calendar to trade is whenever I have, or us actually, but probably you might not see it that way. Okay, so now whenever there is a significant driver like the CPI, okay, you would notice that the previous day, which is today, it's always a very difficult day to trade, because to be very honest, I didn't even know what I did not expect that much of a rally today to the upside, even though you're having that back and forth, but then it still delivered to the highs you guys were looking for, which is I commend you guys for that. That was a good job done in terms of how
Thank
you
you.
managed your trade to that level.
So please, can we talk about how to calculate our lot size?
Your lot
and-
size.
and risk management.
Okay. Now it's this is different for the assets you're trading, okay? But
okay.
the simpler one you could do is if you're trading a pair like maybe the Euro USD, where you have your prices in
Yeah.
pips or points depending. Now you notice that you would have, I think, a couple of digits after the points, right? So if the market is moving, say for instance, because what I'm looking at is the card. I want to take a look at the euro, so I'll be able to explain.
Can you
better.
use the current price?
Okay, now the current price. Now, if you're looking at where the current price is, we are at 1.14395.
Yes.
So now, if price moves from that level to 1.439, or let me just say 1.14300. So now, what you're having there is 95, but then it's 9 pips. I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah.
So if you now say that your stop loss is supposed to be 10 pips, that means you're seeing 100 points, right? And then, first of all, you want to take a look at what you want to risk. If you want to risk $10, you just divide that by what the stop loss in points to give you your lot size. I don't know if it's understandable that way.
Yeah, I do. But I know how to calculate mine.
Okay.
But there's another way because
Okay.
each
Let's hear it if you have.
each eh
Let's see how you do yours.
okay. Okay, how I do mine is that I will do like the whole account,
Okay.
like the like the figure I have in my
Yeah.
account, divided like times one. If I'm risking 1% of that
1%.
account,
Yeah.
times one, divided by 100.
100.
Then whatever I have there, I will now divide it by two.
I'm
Understand?
not following. I'm not following.
Okay, let's say I have $3,000.
Yeah.
Yes, I have $3,000.
Okay.
Then times one divided by 100. It will be 30, right?
Yeah.
Then this 30 now divided by 2
Yeah.
is 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then this 15 now divided by your like the number of pips you want to use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I like using 200. Like okay, like 20.
Yeah.
I will do 15 divided by 200.
Okay.
Please calculate that for me. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Please calculate that for me.
I should calculate it for you.
Yeah. I have like 0.07. Like you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
So that is how I calculate my risk for the day.
Okay.
So I'll be leaving the mic to my boss, Emilio.
Sure, Emilio.
Mr. Emilio.
So Emilio, how's it going?
All right, guys. That was a very beautiful calculation with the King's FX. All right. You know, guys, people that went to take the US30 trade, it has shifted to POI, the point of interest, guys, and we are all inside that trade. So let's see what price will do next. All right, please. I know that everybody is using a very good risk management and a very good lot size over there. Okay, so in the house we have Mr. Dan. I mean, this guy is super good on chart. I mean, his entry is only on 1 hour. I mean, how can this? I think this guy is not even a day trader. He should be a swing trader. So, Mr. Dan, how is it going, man? Hello, Mr. Dan.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Good afternoon to everybody in the studio and to our viewers out there.
Good afternoon,
my
Mr.
name is
Dan.
Daniel, and it's a privilege to be among such wonderful traders here. Certain things have been said in here that I subscribe to, and a few I do not subscribe to. For example, the bias on Euro USD. I do not subscribe to Euro USD being bearish. I am heavily bullish on Euro USD. And what would give a backbone to that is the current price action on DXY. If we look at the DXY, we'll see certain things that make sense to me in particular. We'll see how the bodies are reacting in a particular level and how the wicks are reacting to a particular level too. If we go to the 4 hour, we draw a fib on the forward. Give me a minute, let me calibrate the chart and just for precision and clarity so that those viewers out there watching can clearly understand what I'm trying to say. All right, so if you take a fib, right, and then you calibrate the fib from DXY high at from DXY high at 99.665 and the low at 98357. What we'd see is let me repeat that again. The high at 99.665 99.676 and the low at 98.35. Right. So if we calibrate a fib there, we would notice how the bodies, right, are just in between the 0.75 and 0.5. Notice how the wicks are just penetrating through 0.75. There's no body close on 0.75. That's indicative of a strong sell movement. This is telling us that price is not interested in going higher. That's for DXY now, right? So remember that whatever DXY does, foreign currencies do the opposite, right? And so this being obvious and seeing how, in fact, currently now we can see even the 4 hours now, right? Still in the 4 hours. We can see how price is heavily moving downwards, and we can see how lows are swept, right? So this is a very strong indication that the sales in DXY is very active. So that's one of the things that have been said so far that I do not subscribe to. And one thing that was said that I subscribed to was the risk management. I think Mrs. Nsikak was the person that said something about risk management and how important it is when she was asked about how to control her emotions, right? She said if you have a good risk management, you wouldn't be jittering and then be nervous and have your emotions scattered around if you have a proper risk management. That answer is a very, very, in my opinion, right, it's a very valid, and to me it's the absolute truth, right? If you have a proper risk management, you're risking what you can lose, your emotions would not be haywire. They will be centered, grounded, and gravitated to your own core. You wouldn't need to sweat and second guess yourself. You just stay true to whatever bias that you have, because this is a risk that you're capable of losing if it doesn't go your way. And while I was being introduced, Mr. Emediong said something about me always having a position at the 1 hour. Like my the rest of my colleagues said earlier, we are all traders, right? And we have different strategies, different entry time frame that fits everybody's temperaments and kind of a person, right? So I'm a kind of person that I feel comfortable taking any position in the 1 hour. Why? Because it gives me clarity, right? So if I'm going to lose the trade, there would be obvious signs that, Daniel, this trade isn't going against you. This trade is going against you. Stop out here. This is a very good region to stop out. So that's why I'm always focused on the 1 hour, as opposed to taking entries in the lower time frame. So that's it for me, sir.
All right, that was a very beautiful, nice piece from Mr. Dan. That's a young man that has scattered the market so far, so good. All right, guys. So we are still expecting price for the SP500 to enter our zone. Okay. Now let's move on to the USDT. We have seen a massive rejection over there. So let's watch out what the USDT will play for us. And guys, please, with proper risk management, our SL is below this particular low over here. Now our SL is at 42,677, right? So initially we said our entry is going to be 50% retracement of this particular order block at 4270. Okay, guys. So let's see what the 3 p.m. Nigerian time plays out, right? So a couple of things have been said about different things. Every trader has their own psychology. Just like the market does not care what you
Sir.
do. If you like go take a loan, the market does not care whether you took a loan to come and trade. It doesn't have that emotions. All right. So guys, one of the things you need to do is that know what you want to risk before you enter the market,
Yes, sir.
so that you will not be stopped by. All right. Okay, guys. I'm actually looking at this SP500 is actually stronger than the US30 today, right? The US30 is a little bit weaker, right? And I think it's still, if you are not in position, I think it's still good for you to still go in. All right, guys. But I will advise wait for the new candle to open so that you can take this other low as your SL and maybe hit your profit to the upside, guys. I mean, our next profit target is at the midnight opening. The midnight opening, guys. All right, let's look at what Euro USD is doing. No. Euro USD should push it upside before it can form this kind of retracement. Right. So, I mean, what Mr. Dan said about the Euro USD sales. Actually, we are taking a short-term sales, though Euro USD is on a bullish movement, right?
Okay.
So I was expecting Euro USD to react at 1.145,000, that particular beautiful psychology level over there.
Could you
Right.
repeat that again, please?
I mean 1.14500 specifically. 500. When we want to hit that particular milestone over there, we take a shot down a little bit pips. I mean, you
okay,
can
okay.
take a couple of 30 pips down before we now continue Euro USD to the upside, man. So I'm still on the same train that you are on, in the bullish train with the Euro USD. But in as much as we have seen our structure, we have seen our strategy, we go all. But I'm not going to sell Euro USD to the downside.
Okay, I think I
Actually,
understand better
yeah.
now. Yeah.
All right. So that was a beautiful one, anchoring Mr. Dan. But I still have some couple of good questions for him. Right. So, Mr. Dan, what do you do when once you hit SL for the day? What do you do?
Oh well, that's such a nice question. Thank you for the question.
All right.
So, it's all boils down to what Mrs. Nsekak said, right? I hope I'm getting the name correct, ma. Right. It all boils down to what Mrs. Nsekak said. Risk management. All right. So, as a person, myself as a trader, when I take a loss, I have certain rules and certain process that I go through, which I will share now. For every position that I take, I risk 1% per trade, right? So when I lose that position, mind you, before I take this position, I understand that I am risking a certain, that is 1% of my entire equity in this position, right? So when I lose it, I'm comfortable with that because it is a loss that I am comfortable with. It is a predetermined plan. I didn't just see the markets in any place and then decide to choose any lot size whatsoever or risk any certain amount whatsoever. It is a certain amount that I know that I want to risk. I only begin to have bad emotions as I get angry, frustrated, mood swings when I go out of my comfort zone of risk management. That is when I risk above a certain percentage that I am comfortable losing. For example, if I go, say I risk 2% or even 3% per trade on a particular trade, when I know that I should be risking 1%, right? So when I take if I hit a stop loss on such a trade, right, that would affect me. And so knowing the kind of person that I am, the temperaments that I have, I ensure that before I go into this, before I even take this position, I have planned it. That is why you trade your plan, right? You trade your plan and you plan your trade. You don't just take a position because the crowd is saying it's bullish, it's buy, it's bear, whatever the bias the crowd is they're saying, right? So you take a position based on your own personal analysis, right? You take it so that if you lose that position, you are comfortable with the loss. As traders, right? We've had experiences where the crowd are saying something is bullish, right? And you by yourself, after doing the analysis, you say to yourself, "Oh, this is bearish." But then, being influenced by the crowd, you join the herd. You join the herd, right? And then you lose the trade. And the trade eventually goes exactly to where you want it to go to, a
Very
pure
painful.
bearish movement. And so you start thinking to yourself, at that moment now, you're having, the pain you're feeling is doubled, right? First, it's a pain of, oh God, I could have been right here. If only I had stuck to my own belief, I could have been right here. So you get angry at yourself for not listening to yourself. And then you get angry at yourself for taking the loss. So that's like a double pain. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
So
I
at the end of the day, it's better to just, trade your plan, trade what you see, so that if you lose, right, it's a loss that you can welcome. Because the trading is a business, right? Losses and wins. You welcome the losses because they teach you lessons, and they teach you what not to do next. All right, and you welcome the wins because they are evidence that you have actually done certain things right. Yeah. So thank you.
So that was a very nice. I mean, you are talking out of a lot of experiences in the market. Okay, guys. So you know, a lot of people tends to give up in this game, and like they hit some losses, lost some amount of money, and maybe they are out. Okay, so I really want to ask this particular question. Assuming you mentored someone, you are teaching someone, probably you give a signal, you give a setup,
Okay.
and okay, let's say you have a mentor that gave you a setup, and maybe probably the setup went and hit your SL. What's your 100? What? Can you still believe that person that he's doing the right thing or not?
Wow. That's a wonderful question.
You know, why I'm asking this question is that many people, like, I mean, things to change,
Yeah, I understand.
leave this other person, go to
And
this
then
other
go
person.
to
Before you know, they are wangling around. At the end of the day, they don't even know what they are actually want
Doing.
again in the market, right?
All right.
So, like, in that kind of scenario, what can you deduce?
All right. Thank you for that question. That's a wonderful question.
Okay.
All right. So this is my opinion to answer such a question, right? So the first thing we need to understand is trading these financial markets is a numbers game, right? It's a probability. So if a mentor gives a particular trade signal and that particular trade signal goes to stop loss. Now, in my opinion, that doesn't mean that the mentor is bad or is not a good mentor or doesn't know how to navigate his or herself in this market. It's just one of just one bad trade and amongst the numbers that you can give, right? So in my opinion, right, if such a mentor out of 10 trades gives 7 that bad or even 8 that are bad, I mean that's wrong. That's just wrong. I mean out of 10 trades, 8 are bad and 2 is good. That's not a good that's not a good that's not a good number, right? So I mean in percentage wise, that's like 80% bad and
Bad
20% good. I mean that's not even an average of 50-50.
Okay.
So what I'm saying now is, right, yeah, a person should not just a student or anybody that got a signal from any mentor should not just take that loss at face value and say, oh, because this particular trade is a loss, then this particular mentor doesn't know how to no, the person should give the mentor time, right? So get several number of trades or signals from this mentor, right? So you then do your own evaluation, see if there are more winners than losers for you to have an opinion as to if this mentor is
Should
actually
continue.
good or bad. So it's a numbers thing in my opinion. It's a numbers thing.
Okay, guys. That was a very beautiful one from Mr. Dan. I mean, I really love this live stream with you. Okay. So guys, I will be wrapping up in a couple of 2 minutes. It has been a very beautiful time with you guys. So those people that took trade on the USDT, I think you should be floating in good profit now. All right. Okay. I mean, USDT should be flying to the moon now, right? Okay. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. We'll be switching to the 1 hour time frame to see the price action because 15 minutes has given me an indecision candle, right? Okay, and the 1 hour has even printed an indecision candle. I mean, why is indecision just fooling the market today, guys? Right, but 4 hours has given us a very strong confirmation to the upside. Nevertheless, guys, don't be panicked. Just know what you are risking. Just know what you are risking. Just know what you are risking, guys. And at the end of the day, I think we'll be smiling today. All right, guys. So wrapping up this session, I want Mr. Collins to say one or two things to the house. Like, how you feeling? What's your projection for the next move of the market?
All right. Concerning the projection for the next market, and I was expecting something to be said, but since I didn't hear it, I have to make it very important. Like, as traders, you need to also make plans and make use of your fundamental analysis, because these are the things that guide. It's more like a pathway to trading. We all know that we all have different strategies in trading, but when we are trading as traders, we need to consider fundamental analysis, because it's like having a three-leg tool, which is sentimental, fundamental, and technical. And technical does its part, fundamental does its part. Then sentimental it does depend on you, your mindset, and your focus towards the market. Now, the fundamental part of the market is most of these traders, especially upcoming traders, do not really know the influence of fundamental analysis. When I mean fundamental, I mean news, the effect of news on the market. Most like tomorrow we have CPI, and most people do not understand why the market can be very indecisive today. Most times the market becomes so indecisive to prep traders, professional traders, for tomorrow expansion. We have CPI tomorrow, and CPI is another high impact news, and that can tend to run at both direction, most especially change the direction of the market. So the main reason I'm like sitting out of this trade, because I'm coming to realize that whenever I want to trade London New York session, like 3 a.m. 3 o'clock New York session, it tends to range till the next day, especially if we're having a high impact news the next day. Now, if you have a high impact news like FOMC, NFP, CPI, and you have this news being released by probably tomorrow, that is tomorrow by 8:30 New York time, or sometimes this market tends to range, like it could range from now to tomorrow till that time. Like if you see what happened on the market and last week, NFP, there were certain positions that the market would have expanded to, but just because of the NFP news, a lot of people were expecting bullishness. But what happened? The market reversed automatically on lots of traders, and most traders took losses from that NFP. And with the kind of trader I am, I tend to always avoid trading those weeks to save myself from the whole market drama. So I always tend to save myself from participating on high impact weeks, like all those FOMC weeks. But if we have a situation where we have high impact news like PPI, sometimes even the CPI, I used to advise people that if you want to participate in market scenarios like that, why not wait for the news to release? You wait for those high impact news to release. By then, market is now stable for you to engage. So this news fundamental is very important. The same way as technical is important, fundamental is important. You just don't go with one and say, I'm going with one, I'm not doing this. You have to go with all. That is how you will build that psychology of understanding how price action delivers and how price works. So if not, you keep on asking yourself questions and upon questions. Why did the market do like this? Oh, my analysis was right, but the market took me out. Why did it? Most times, the market maker uses this as a form of seek and destroy. Traders who hold positions might be taken out of the market because of the volatility of that market at that instant. So news is very important. High impact news, medium impact news. You are advised to always stand out, especially if you have a news if you are a trader, a London trader, and you have US and dollar news by 8:30. If you, irrespective of what the market presents that time, once it gets to that time, I advise you to stay off the market, because if the market wants to take charge at that news hour, it's seek and destroy. It's looking for everybody. Where your stop is, that is what the market is aiming towards. So this is one of the things that as new traders, as people who are coming into the industry, you need to also watch out for. It's not just the technical part of the market that is very important, but also the news aspect of trading.
That was a very beautiful one with Mr. Collins. I mean, this guy is super good. I mean, all right, guys. For the USAT traders, guys, we are in floating in profit. I am inside this trade, guys. I'm inside this trade. We are floating in profit, guys. So it has been a very beautiful time with you guys. I mean, to the upside, guys. I mean, hosting the female traders in the house as one of it has been one of the beautiful experiences that we have so far. So good. So, guys, we are going to catch you later. Have a beautiful and profitable week so far. Catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.